There it is, all spelled out. Now, for more insight into the U.S. Supreme Court decision to uphold the Biden administration's ban on TikTok, let's bring in Mike Sexton. Mike's a senior policy advisor for cyber and AI for the think tank Third Way. Mike, good to see you again.
Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, people made some pretty good logical statements, I thought, in those stories. And there's a lot to unfold. Let's begin with the very latest. The highest court in the United States siding with the Biden administration, saying, yes, TikTok is a threat to national security. Why, and why did Biden push for this?
Unfortunately, what was not mentioned in your segment about the data security concerns was also a lack of transparency about the algorithmic recommendations, what is in TikTok's feed that is given to people. And American national security professionals and Congress, as well as the White House, are quite concerned that there might be inappropriate CCP control over the recommendation algorithm, and that it is a problem to be ceding control of our American information space over to an algorithm where there is no transparency. So while I'm really in favor of any cultural exchange with China, I was just playing Black Myth Wukong before I joined. It's about Journey to the West, amazing game.
Yeah.
This is something where there is a concern that Americans, what is in their social media feeds, is not controlled by something that they can trust.
Okay, now for a little bit about the unknown. TikTok already saying that it's going to pull its app by Sunday, and that means its 170 million users in the U.S. are going to be on the outside looking in. But you heard people already making the move to Red Note. So what's the difference?
I'm not very familiar with Red Note, to be honest with you. I understand that it is primarily for Chinese users, and that the large influx of English language users has forced the company to hire a lot of English language censors, or consider hiring English language censors. So I understand it's also oriented more towards shopping than TikTok is. So, I mean, we will see what wins out.
Okay, one thing, a lot of Americans have pushed back against a lot of things Chinese, and we've seen it for years and years and years now, but not TikTok. Why do you think that resonates so much with people here in this country?
I think some of it is probably a generational thing, but it really is something that has been concerning to the national security community and to members of Congress for many, many years now, even since the Trump administration as well. There is a concern that in the same way, during the Cold War, we would not allow Soviets to broadcast over cable in the United States, that to have a social media app where our teenagers and young adults are spending hours and hours a day, it's a very popular app, there needs to be some transparency about the algorithmic recommendations that it provides. And if there is not, as far as we can tell, it might be subject to some sort of interference by the Chinese Communist Party, then the national security take is that it should be thrown out.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, and you're right that Donald Trump and his first administration did try to ban this. But let's take a look where we are now. Trump can't change the law. First, let's be clear about that. It's on the books now. The Supreme Court has ruled. But TikTok's CEO is going to be at Trump's inauguration. And Trump himself, with 14 million users, that helped him in his last presidential race. And he seems pretty open to the idea of favorable treatment. What is the chance that he's going to say, look, I know that we want TikTok axed through the law, but it's not going to happen?
Well, what his executive order would probably have to be confined to is the terms of the bill, which is that TikTok's American operations can only continue if they are sold to an American operator. So there have been rumors about Elon Musk buying it. Frank McCourt has been interested in buying it for a long time. Even before that, there was Oracle. But the real obstacle to this is the decision-making at ByteDance and within the Chinese government. This consideration has been on the table for many years, and that has been the obstacle, is ByteDance and the Chinese government. So, everyone from Donald Trump to even Chuck Schumer has recently said, we want TikTok to continue in the United States. It's a very popular app. We just want to have it be run by a company or an individual we can trust.
Okay, hearing that, what are the chances that we know Musk's name came up, but why would ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, want to sell it? It's a very lucrative algorithm.
hmm Yeah, that's a good question. As I understand, if TikTok were to sell its American operations off, it would keep the algorithm that it has, its proprietary algorithm, secret, and would not be giving that algorithm to whatever American company or individual. So, if the question is that there's some secret sauce in the TikTok recommendation algorithm, they can keep that, and they can keep that, for the rest of the world. And Americans' feeds can be degraded by some American owner. But the matter really for the consensus of the national security community, as well as for members of Congress, is that as long as we have no transparency into that algorithm, it shouldn't be dictating what our teenagers are seeing in the news.
Okay, Mike, you have 10 seconds. Tell me, on Tuesday, will TikTok still be operating in the U.S.?
Most likely for the people who already have it on their phones, it will still be operational, but there's a very good chance that it might not be available to install from the app stores of iPhones or Androids anymore.
Yeah, but don't forget that it's also said that it's going to pull its app. It's going to say, sorry, if you try to get it, it's not going to be there. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Mike Sexton, good conversation. Enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.